The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
There is no mercy in this podcast. This week we're going to be talking about season 6-ish of Cobra Kai, because it's not over yet. But we've got part 1 and part 2. We're still waiting around for part 3, but we've decided to do a Cobra Kai update. And what am I smoking this week, you may ask? Well, it is the La Aroma de Cuba El Jefe, or the El Jefe, as I like to mispronounce it.
Why you got to do that? That's such a me thing to do. Like, I was so bad with pronunciations at certain points.
In Spanish, the J is an H. It's the El Jefe, which translates to, like, the boss. And I figure we're talking about Cobra Kai and shit. Like, the boss was a fitting...
There is no boss. We're just talking about the same quarrel we've been talking about for the last...
Oh, but this sports a Nicaraguan Connecticut broadleaf wrapper with Nicaraguan fillers and binders. And it's a 7-inch by 58 ring gauge. He's a big boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like a big boy.
Oh, yeah, so then maybe this one will last through the whole podcast, and then have some left over for the editing process afterward. Oh,
One can never be sure, because I'm gonna need you to keep that fire burning, because it's a little cool.
We need like a little desktop fire pit. And then we get carbon monoxide poisoning and pass out in the middle of the podcast, but
It'll be fine. We're guaranteed viewership. Like, those two assholes finally died.
But then who would upload it?
Amanda's got this.
We have to, if we're gonna die on the podcast, we're gonna have to do a live stream. That way, it automatically gets gets uploaded.
I mean, there'll be video.
Someone will find the GoPro, and it'll be like a fucking found footage horror movie. It's like, is Brad undercaffeinated, or is he dying from carbon monoxide poisoning?
I don't know what it is, man. Like, I just at 5:30, like, I just kind of hit a wall, and I'm like, I should not be tired. Why am I tired?
Yeah, it's fucking winter time change and shit, where it's like dark at 5 o'clock. It's like, oh, it's like, even though it's like only like 6-ish, we're like, oh fuck, it's like, it feels like it's damn midnight. Well, if you've got to travel to another country and fight in an international martial arts tournament, the Sakai Taikai, you should call in the Strikeforce, strikeforceenergy.com, promo code Cigar Nerds for 20% off your order. Get all jacked up on caffeine and go like, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. I'll come at you like a spider monkey.
There was a lot of that this season.
Coming at people like spider monkeys?
Yeah.
Skeet, skeet, skeet.
Like, every time somebody would do an aerial attack, I was like, spider monkey. And then I kept thinking, like, how would the West Virginia ninja stack up?
Judy chop, Judy chop. You don't want to be doing your karate kicking and your Judy chopping at the same time, because then you chop your leg off, and no one needs a no-legged ninja. And the only other thing I remember that is don't ninja nothing that don't need ninjaing. It's kind of the philosophy I live my life by.
Regular can of back? No, says I.
Ninja Star. If you're not old like us and have no idea what we're talking about, this is from the early days of the internet. Just Google West Virginia Ninja, and there's a series of amusing fake martial arts videos. This was like Master Ken before Master Ken. It's like proto Master Ken.
Whatever. It's real life, man. I've lived and died by the teachings of West Virginia.
I think so. You've probably been through West Virginia more than I have. Have you seen any ninjas?
That's the thing about ninjas, man. You don't
Never
see them.
See the ninjas. Oh, and with that, we'll get right into our main topic. Hoyo! Yeah, something like that.
I mean, dude, you do martial arts, okay? Come on, give us something real.
Kia!
There you go. Yeah, I still feel like you made that up, though.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yes, we're talking about the final season of Cobra Kai, a.k.a. Season 6, which has been... Because, Netflix got to keep those subscribers up. Instead of getting the entire freaking season, they've broken Season 6 into 3 parts. Part 2 and 1 are out now. And you don't get to see the final 5 episodes until February 13th is the kind of so far scheduled release.
So I guess spoiler alerts for anybody that hasn't seen this, because yeah, I mean, is there a lot to spoil here? I really kind of felt like we hashed out a lot of the same stuff that we've been trying to hash out with no real closure, and to say that, it's like, it sounds like I didn't enjoy this season, but damn it, I enjoyed this season.
Yeah, this has probably been one of my, or at least part 1 meh, but part 2 is probably one of my favorites so far. But you're right. It's like every season, it's like, all right, we've got to learn how to blend Johnny's style with Daniel's style. And it's like every season, it's like we've figured out how to work together. And then they forget how to work together. And they got to spend the first couple episodes learning how to work together again.
Or this one, it all started with everybody singing Kumbaya. And then just fell apart from there until once again the kids are like, we're the voice of reason and we're more mature than the adults, so adults, get your head out of your asses and let's not make a mockery out of karate.
Yeah, because season 5 definitely dealt with like more of the adult action of them having to fight off Terry Silver coming in and trying to retake Cobra Kai and causing a bunch of fuckery. But then Daniel-san and Johnny combined dojos into what we accurately predicted would be Miyagi-Fang, and then they decided, no, we're just gonna... They actually brought that up, like, we should be Miyagi-Fang, and they're like, no, let's do Miyagi-Do. Like, I'm gonna make that concession, and I'm gonna join your dojo. But yeah, it's like every scene is like the two different teaching styles, but even Miyagi-Do is like way too defensive, and Eagle Fang / Cobra Kai is way too aggressive, and it's like we've got to like combine them to get a complete, well-rounded, balanced martial art. And it's like every season it's like we forgot how to do that. We got to figure it out again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like part 2 of this season, did I say that right? This is
because part
2.
1 was the kids training
to go. It feels like so long ago. Was it so long ago?
Part 1 came out in July.
That's so long ago.
Yeah. So yeah, part 1 was the kids kind of training up to, because at the end of last season they got invited to this international tournament at the Saikai Taikai, which is like best of the best. Only certain dojos or dojangs get invited. And so the first half of the season, or the first third of the season, was the kids training up, and then also they found out only 5 of us get to go. So then there's kind of like an inter-dojo competition to choose like the 5 that are gonna be competing. And then you also found out that Kreese, who escaped from prison, goes back to Korea and links up with like the original Cobra Kai master, and he's like, well, if the American Cobra Kai is no more, I'm gonna come join like the original Cobra Kai so I can get a team in the Saikai Taikai and fuck up Daniel and Johnny. But little do we know, there's a third party involved in all this.
Yeah. They've been at this a real long time.
Yeah, it's like everyone is like switched sides so many times you don't know what. It's like, what team are you on again? Because you were Cobra Kai, then you were Eagle Fang, then you were Miyagi-Do, and now with Tori, she's gone back to Cobra Kai. It's like,
but has she? Has she?
Apparently reluctantly, because in the first half of the season, we found out her mother, who has been sick, died, and she's supposed to fight LaRusso, Sam, to figure out who's going to be like the female captain. And she just, and I gotta, like, had such like a bad time that like I just need to get on the mat and like throw hands. But like Daniel and his wife finds out what happened and stops the fight because they're like, oh no, she's out of control. And like Johnny's like, no, dude, you should have let her, like, sometimes you got to get on the mat and just work shit out. But he's like, no, it's too dangerous. She's like, not in her right headspace. So she gets pissed off and runs off to, like, because Kreese is like, hey, if you want to kick ass, I'll let you kick ass. I don't care. Your mama dead. Come kick ass with me in Korea. So like, yeah, it's like that was one of the times I'm like, I agree with Johnny in this situation. Like, you should have let her.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean,
work out some shit.
I
mean, at least,
see
supervise so it doesn't get too out of hand. But yeah, like, she needed an outlet in that moment for like the pain she was feeling, and him kind of cock blocking that sent her straight to Cobra Kai. So Johnny's like, dude, you should have just let her fight, and like worked it out. Like, Sam can handle it. Like, you fucked up on this in this. There's times when it's like, all right, I get Daniel's point, and there's other times it's like, no, you should have fucking listened to Johnny.
So those times when it's like, it's just me and the car, and whatever happens is gonna happen, But, I see from the parent perspective of, like, oh, she's probably gonna really fuck up our daughter in this, but at the same time, like, there needed to be an avenue and an outlet. And instead of just completely shutting it down.
Yeah, if you were afraid, fucking get on the mat with her. If you're afraid you're gonna fuck up your kid,
But then again, like, it's crazy to me. Like, all the focus is on the kids training and everything else. Like, where's the sensei training? Because the kids seem to have their shit together, once again, a lot more than the adults do. And I'm like...
Yeah, I love that moment when they've made it to, like, the final four, and we're about to go into, like, the semifinal rounds, and Johnny is spooked because he's, pissed off about Kreese, and Daniel's son found out some, and we'll get into that in a minute, some bad stuff about Miyagi, and both of them are kind of, like, shook. And Chosen's like, hey, I'm going to take the kids to the gym and get them warmed up while y'all figure out the game plan. So y'all need to get your heads out of your asses, or I will pull your heads out of your asses myself.
But then again, like, I don't know, Chosen had his, the girl got away, moment, and...
Yeah, he shows up to the tournament drunk as shit because he finally got up a nerve to ask out Kimiko, and turned out she already had a boyfriend when he went back to Japan. He just shows up drunk and being an asshole.
It's always the pool boy too.
And the lady the lady sensei of Cobra Kai, who's like the granddaughter of like the original master Kim Dae-un. She's like freaking hilarious. Like I like how they've kind of like,
I mean, everybody's
grown
kind of
her character a little bit,
gotten a little bit of an arc. I mean, we even saw that with Kreese, where all of a sudden, he's not as bad as he once was.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm wondering if part 3 we're gonna get a like enemy of my enemy is my friend thing, because,
well, I mean, we're already seeing that happen. Because
with Kim, she was like, last season seemed to be like as dark as Kreese, but then she starts arguing with his methods, and like, because he wants to play mind games with with Daniel and Johnny and fuck with them. And she's like, no, we should be concentrated on the students and the competition, not your personal fucking vendetta. And she even like goes out to like find the kids to like make sure they're staying out of trouble. It ends up, hooking up with freaking, with Chosen. And it's like, yeah, she doesn't seem, and when they accuse her of like, yeah, Cobra Kai did this. And she's like, I don't know anything about that. If Kreese did this shit on his own, it's like,
but then again, too, like you really saw, like, I think kind of the big turning point was when Tori starts, confronting her and it's like, you've been ingrained with karate. Karate is all you've ever known. Yeah, what about friends? What
friends,
about family?
Love, all that.
Anything.
And she says like, she's like, is
but
it
that
worth
hesitation.
It? Yeah, she says absolutely, but there is like a distinct, hesitation before she says that. So it's like, yeah, I think she's starting to kind of loosen up a little bit. And even Kreese, like, we get this episode where, like, last season it's revealed that Miyagi apparently fought in this tournament and didn't tell Daniel-san about it. So he's been trying to like find out that kind of missing part of his history, and gets lured to like meet some master probably from back in the day, but it turns out to be a trap, and he gets like locked in a dog cage with a dude who has a Cobra tattoo. So they automatically assume it's Kreese. And when they confront him, they found out no, Terry Silver's actually got out of jail, and he has bought another dojo so he could compete and fuck with both of them.
Iron Dragon? Is that what they were?
I think it was like, it was like the Iron Wolf, Iron Dragon, something like that. But yeah, and it's like, so like, oh, you find out like, yeah, Kreese has a vendetta against Johnny and Daniel-san, but as far as like the on mat activities, he's played by the rules. Like, he's like, all the fucking with them he's done after hours outside of the tournament, or just mind games with like the senseis, and he's like left the kids and all that mostly alone, or at least like there's no cheating in the tournament. Like, we'll fuck with you outside of the tournament and fucking try to get in your head and
cheating.
Shit.
There's cheating.
Well, it wasn't them though. It turned out to be the fucking Russians all jacked up on roids going like full Rocky 4 or whatever it is with Ivan Drago. I'll tell you one thing I haven't seen yet that I thought we were going to get. And we only get I want to see the big German guy that's the head of the tournament, like, just break bag and beat the fuck out of somebody. Because he threatens at one point where he's like telling the Russian team they're disqualified. He's like, "You do not want to make me angry. If I stop being a gentleman, you will know it." And then dude comes up and sucker punches him and starts like that fucking.
Well, I mean, you did see, he got one lick.
Yeah, and he shows back up and like knocks the fucker out. But I want to see him go like full fight scene. I am scary German man. Do not fuck with me. And I don't know what accent I'm doing. This is definitely not German. I'm still on fucking Ivan Drago or whatnot. Oh.
You've only got one accent, and that's terrible Russian.
Yes, bad Russian. That's all I do. Oh.
And you don't even drink vodka. That's what's weird about it.
I know. Maybe I should try. Maybe my accent will get better. Hey, you want some whiskey? I got a decanter over here in the corner. That'll warm you up.
I'm not really even cold right now. I'm just trying to focus on staying awake.
Staying alive. Yeah, but to back up a little bit, I mean, you did watch like part 1 of season 6, right? When they're having like the final trials to like, it's like, all right, we've picked a couple people. There's 2 spots left. We're gonna have a race. Y'all got to like do it basically a capture the flag and get back there. And the one kid, Payne, he's like taking like muscle milk and shit and like protein shakes, and somebody like doses his fucking protein shakes with X-Lax, and he fucking violently shits himself.
Danielson, he's not gonna make it. Like, I mean, at that point, like, I just went behind the porta potty or something. Like, it's got to be real fucking bad for me to shit my pants. Like,
just shit in the woods,
I
homie.
just drop trowel and take a shit right in front of everybody, but at least my pants would be clean.
Yeah, and I like the
whole
Kenny
shit
Payne,
butt.
played by Dallas Dupree Young. When at one point Johnny and Miguel have to return to America, and they think they're going to be out of the tournament. And he's like, "Hey, find Kenny and put him on a plane so he can fill in for Miguel." And when Daniel's wife goes to talk to him, he's like, I'm not doing it. I'm done with karate. And she's like, why? She's like, just Google shit butt. It's like, fucking the shit butt me.
It's almost like dick butt, but
Yeah.
shit butt.
I mean, I think I could have come up with a better insult than that, but the fucking meme of like the fucking Porta-John launching like a rocket and shit. I'm like, all right, I respect your meme game. Y'all got some assholes around here.
Damn kids and their memes. I don't know. I think for me, them going to the frat house, and doing work.
Yeah, they go on a college visit and end up getting in a frat fight.
Vacuum. Where's my vacuum?
Yeah, they find their old dojo mate who has gone off to college before them because he was like a year older than them. Is like basically like pledging a frat, and they're just fucking with him. He's like, dude, you're a martial artist. Like, why are you taking this shit from these fuckers? And they find like, they've like already figured out they're not gonna like let you in. He's like, well, fuck it, let's rock, and they start beating the fuck out of all these frat guys. It's like, you got your ass kicked by a high schooler.
The only thing they missed is they really, really needed the budget to pull Van Wilder into that role. Like, how awesome would that have been? Like, holy shit, he's still in college.
Oh,
I'm never gonna leave.
that was the thing too. That they've brought back so many of like the classic actors from like the original films. That the long-haired guy that kidnapped Daniel-san that had the Cobra Kai tattoo. I didn't even realize it until they reveal it later on. He was the bully from Karate Kid 3, the one that Silver had like hired to like harass Daniel to try to get him to just fuck with him until he joined Cobra Kai. And I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen that guy. Like, didn't recognize him with the long hair and shit until they showed the flashback.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they start wrapping some stuff up though. Like, because right now there's so many. We just keep rehashing the same old shit. Like, and not that I enjoyed it. Like, the second part of the season to me so far has probably been, outside of maybe the first season, just reliving the nostalgia. But then, the way this tournament and everything, like, the action of this season was awesome.
This has probably been the best action season so far. And come from, like, I've fought in martial art tournaments. I absolutely hate point sparring. I think it's the most worthless shit ever, because it's that whole, like, you get a lucky hit, and it's like, all right, stop, separate, re-engage. If tournaments were like this Saikai Taikai, where it's like continuous action, and it's like where we just keep fighting and they'll award the points as we're fighting, but there's no like pause in the action, that to me is like way more fun and entertaining than point sparring. I fucking can't. If someone says like, yeah, this technique is really good for sparring, that just, I'm like, all right, that's gonna go into like the back of the book, because like, I don't know, some martial artists look at it like very sport oriented, but I am very like combat oriented, where like, if this shit is not useful in a real fight, I do not care about it. I'll learn it for like the history and the technique of it all, but like, yeah, that shit's going like deep in the back of my mind. It's not, going to be one of my go-to techniques, because I'm like, if it's not useful in self-defense, it's to me, it's not useful. And yeah, the point, because I'm very much like I'll take a hit to get close enough to do work. And you can't do that with point sparring. If you take a hit, point, separate. Whereas, like, in a normal fight, someone hit me and like, all right, now I'm close enough to just punch you in the face. That's what's going to happen. But you can't do that in point sparring. So I'm like, this stuff sucks.
Do you get cool screeching noises when you know? Because if you don't, then I'm really disappointed.
Yeah, you get every time Hawk pops up, it's like, Caw! It's like, Where's that damn bird in this? How do you getting this bird in the fucking dojo here?
But I do too like how, we got some 80s training montages going,
Oh yeah, it's not an 80s movie if there's not a cool training montage. So like, yeah. And again, you were talking about the kids being more mature than the adults. Like Johnny and Danielson are arguing yet again over how do we teach, and then Miguel finally like, what the fuck are y'all doing? It's like, he's like, hey, not everything you've taught us is something you learned from Cobra Kai. You've put your own spin on it, and everything you've taught us has not always been Miyagi-Do. It's you've put your own spin on it. It's like, so y'all are not your masters. Y'all are you. Like, get your shit together. And they're like, all right, yeah, I think I can finally. I know how we're gonna train them. Like, we're gonna give them a little bit of Miyagi-Do. We're gonna get them a little bit of Eagle Fang, and we're also gonna get them a tour of Barcelona. So we're gonna train all over the city, so we get to see all the all the famous things we've not looked at yet, and have like a sweet 80s training montage. I miss training montages. You don't get enough of those in modern cinema.
No. Nope, training and gear up montages are kind of a thing of the past, but then again, everything comes full circle and you're starting to see more of it. Like, we got to get the old folks back into movie theaters because these young cats aren't coming to theaters.
They all got short attention spans. If we don't put it in a TikTok, they're not going to get it.
Damn clocks.
Eye of the tiger. I mean, you got to have your training montage. That's like... I mean, hell, I even did a training montage video on my YouTube when I was getting ready for Dragon Con. My Dragon Con training montage.
I'm just really disappointed that there was everybody was kung fu fighting. There's so much missed opportunity there.
But yeah, the group sparring, the group tag team sparring where it's like you can tag in and out with your team. That was cool. And then the basically the balance.
This kind of became like karate meets like Gladiator meets, I don't know, WWE in a way. Yeah. Like they had the one-on-one sparring on like the elevated like balance beam shit, and then they had the 2-on-2 like on the like. Reminded me of some like American Gladiator shit where like they're up on a big elevated platform and it's like, all right, if you get knocked off, the fight doesn't stop, but someone else from your team can climb up and join the fight. But until they get there, it's going to be like 2-on-1. So you better get up that rope quick. And it's like, once your entire team is eliminated, you're eliminated. But yeah, that high beam fight was cool as shit. Yeah. Our chicken fighting, back when we weren't old.
Oh yeah, remember the jousting in American Gladiator where they had the big fucking like Q-tip looking things and they were standing on the platforms and whacking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, always wanted to do that. That looks fun as hell.
Well, I thought it was cool too that we actually got some weapons training, with the bow staffs and stuff. And this.
Oh yeah, I've never seen like bow staff sparring. I was like, that's cool as shit. I'd love to do that. And in most, especially dealing with teenagers, most of your tournaments and sparring are going to require some kind of safety gear. So normally you're going to have at least like headgear, hand gear, feet gear, sometimes chest gear. So, but it doesn't look as cool on film, but yeah, normally a karate tournament would not, or at least a kids karate tournament, it would not be like full contact bare knuckle fighting. But I've never seen sparring gear in any of the Karate Kid stuff, so
you're just not going to the right dojo.
Yeah,
you got to go to the underground one.
Go to the Fight Club.
I know a guy. I can get you in.
But we're not supposed to talk about Fight Club.
Well, you talked about Fight Club. I didn't say anything about the thing that shall not be mentioned.
Yeah, the pugilist meeting. Yeah. We're
going Black Friday shopping.
I didn't say it, so I went to the cigar shop on Black Friday, and like, what are you doing? It's like, well, I went out looking for a Black Friday fight, but I couldn't find any riots to join in, so I guess I'm just going to come here and smoke a cigar. I was looking for somebody to throw hands with, but there was no fights breaking out on the Black Friday. I was disappointed.
That's with so much online presence. I really feel like
I went to the wrong stores.
Kind of a thing of the past.
Now it's just cyberbullying on Black Friday. Fuck you for ordering the last whatever.
Yeah. Just text me at your mom 6969.
Did you pick up anything good for Black Friday? Yeah, your mom. Shit butt.
Oh.
And I like they're trying to convince Kenny to rejoin, and like, you know, Amanda's, they all assume that it, like, you know, Daniel's son, because his son had been like a fucking bully, and they both kind of fucked with each other back and forth. It's like, now y'all gotta like squash this beef. Y'all have to be adults. And, you know, he wanders off and he comes back and he's like, hey man, I swear I didn't do it, but to make us even, I'm gonna shit my own pants. And then he gets the phone call from Devin. She's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I was just thought you were like, I really wanted this, and like, so I'm the one that poisoned you. And he's like, yeah, all right, we're good. But he like turns around and homeboy's already chugged the X-Lax. He's like, oh, yeah, we're good, man. I forgive you now, but you probably want to get home because you want home turf advantage for that shit that's about to come. It's gonna be bad, bro. Trust me. Mom, start the car.
Not using my restroom.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, he's like, yeah, don't come into my house because like you're gonna destroy my toilet. Yeah, you better get home. I hope y'all don't have to live far, or you're gonna have to like, you know, clean mom's car because yeah, like you're about to have a messy number 7.
Is that kind of like a spicy number 7?
Oh, spicy number 7. It burns.
Had a few of those.
Speaking of which, I saw the bomb hot sauce the other day at the Tomato House. They had the bomb, and they had one called like fucking Nuclear Holocaust or some shit. I guess it was like the hotter bomb. I don't know. I was like, I haven't seen that particular version of the bomb.
I don't know. Whatever shit I got is fucking Satan's asshole. Like,
is that literally what it's called, or?
No,
I think I've seen that at the store.
I think it's the end flatline.
Oh,
but
there's a new the end.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a little black vial, but my God, the potency! Like it's one of those that, like, I don't like it. Like I can handle hot stuff up until it gets down on my stomach. Once it hits, like, but it's one of those, like, literally, like, you have to control yourself to keep from convulsing and wanting to puke. It's so fucking hot.
Nice.
But, you know, it destroys your mouth and then your throat and then the stomach, like, and
then your asshole.
It's just so fucking intense.
You got to use a frozen suppository.
I just started, you know, resorting to straight ice cubes. Like,
I'm just gonna wipe my ass with an ice cube.
Yeah, you just freeze some milk, let it melt.
Oh.
None of that works. The only thing you can do is be like, it's just a chemical reaction. I'm not physically burning.
It's just meditate.
Like, you just get real quiet and just like, you know.
So yeah, let's talk about the Miyagi side quest of this too. It's like Daniel-san's found this secret compartment in Miyagi's house that had a captain's headband from this tournament, and he's like, he never told me about this. And they also found like he had like basically gave it a bunch of money to like a boxing gym or you know, so he's like trying to figure out all these things from like his missing past. And then, you know, first Silver's team like sets him up with a fake note and blames Cobra Kai to like kidnap Daniel and make him like sit out, a few of the matches so he couldn't coach the team. But then he gives him which the head of the tournament's like, yeah, this looks legit, and it's like the point standings from the year Miyagi fought, and it shows that like in his final match there was a death. But it doesn't like, explain like what happened. He's like, things were more brutal back then. Accidental deaths, occasionally happened. But you get that. It was kind of cool when it started. I thought we were getting like a full Miyagi like flashback episode, because it started off like grainy, looking like an old martial arts movie.
VHS.
Yeah.
Stuff.
But then it turns out it's Daniel's like having a nightmare where he's having to fight like young Miyagi. So hopefully we'll get that kind of full story in the second half of this season, or third quarter, or whatever, the last third of this season.
I don't know if I really like that arc though. Like me personally, I feel like it's all just Silver's just forging, and it's all just fake nonsense, just to be like, oh, we got to draw this out, side quest.
Yeah, I mean it would make sense if that's be the final result, but it also would make sense that, like, Daniel, when he went a few seasons ago, when he went to Japan and met Chosen, he found there was a lot more. Miyagi-Do in its original form wasn't 100% defense like Daniel had been taught, that there was like some offensive techniques. And it would make sense if Miyagi accidentally killed someone in a fight, why he changed his version of the style he was teaching to make it 100% defense, because he was afraid of using offense and accidentally killing someone again. So it would the fact that he, like said, changed the style of fighting, now that that he may have killed somebody, it kind of makes sense that he would lead more into a defensive style instead of an offensive style that the original apparently had like more offensive techniques and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's too coincidental with the big ending of, part 2, which I guess we'll get into in here just a little bit. But, I'm just like, I kind of feel like it's a similar type situation.
Where, he ended up maybe killing this guy in self-defense, and it still felt guilty about it, but yeah.
Or the dude, they just went so hard at it, and dude had a fucking heart attack or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Because, like, back in the original Karate Kid era and stuff like that, like, you never get that side of Miyagi. So, that I can remember anyway.
No. I mean, he was a soldier and, fought in one of the wars because he was old as shit. I can't remember if it was Korean or... Because Kreese was Vietnam, because Kreese was much younger than Miyagi. So I'm assuming Miyagi was either... That wouldn't have been World War II because he was a kid in Okinawa. So yeah, it would have been probably the Korean War that Miyagi was a soldier in.
So I don't know. Like I just feel like it's a big fucking side quest. I'm like, do we really even need this right now? Like, there's already so much drama.
Yeah, we got a lot going on, man. Y'all only got like 5 more episodes to wrap all this shit up.
That's kind of my thing, is I'm just concerned that these next 5 episodes are just going to be so rushed to try to tie up loose ends.
Yeah, because technically the last fight was like the semi-final round, so there's only like 2 more rounds to the tournament. How are we going to space that out over like 5 episodes? There's going to be probably a lot of wrapping up side quests.
They're setting something up for a lot of fucking spinoffs.
Yeah.
Which would not surprise me to be like, oh, for all you fans out there, everybody gets a spinoff.
Well, they've already announced that there's another Karate Kid movie coming out with LaRusso and Jackie Chan, which I don't know how that's going to work, because it can't be in the same like new Karate Kid universe where Jackie Chan played Miyagi, unless he's going to be like, this is Miyagi's cousin. This is like Steve Miyagi.
This is the second Chosen.
Or if he's just going to like be like a whole brand new character. But yeah, it's so we already know we're getting I don't know when, but yeah, we're getting another full like Karate Kid movie. And I gotta say, William Zabka, aka Johnny, not seen him in a lot of things leading up to like kind of this return to Cobra Kai, but this season, I gotta say, that dude is a legit good actor. Like when he kind of sets aside his macho bullshit and counsels Devin, and then he finds out Carmen is kind of having some pregnancy complications, and him and Miguel have to run back to America to check on her, and he's like, hey man, has that heart to heart with him, and then they get to the hospital and she's been moved out of the room and there's like blood on the sheets and they don't know if she's like alive or dead, and like they both kind of have that breakdown. I'm like, motherfucker actually can act. Like he's not just the 80s bully that he was kind of typecast as. I'm like, this dude's got like some skill. I'd definitely like to see him like appear in more roles going forward once this is kind of wrapped up. I'm like, I didn't realize how good of a freaking actor he was until like this season.
Well, that is one thing that I think this season sort of did, was give a lot more arc and a lot more, just depth, for a lot of the characters. I mean, Chosen had his battle, what's her face? Kim, sort of had her shit going on. Even Kreese, like, he's still an asshole, but you see him as less of an asshole and a threat.
Yeah, because even though he's kind of using Tori to win, he is kind of playing that father figure to her. He's kind of got, in his own fucked up way, is like trying to help her in some way. But there was a few times I thought Kreese was just finally going to say fuck it and like kill damn Silver. In fact, like that final battle, he grabs his knife and he's like, because like once the team gets eliminated, he's like, well, got nothing to lose now. I'm going to take this motherfucker out. And then they find out the Russians cheated and got kicked out. So now Cobra Kai, since they were the last team eliminated, gets to come into the semifinals. So he's like, all right, I guess I'll pause on killing this motherfucker. But then the Russians show up in like the final fight and just start like a full on karate riot where like you said, everybody was kung fu fighting. And if he's finally like, ooh, this is my opportunity, I'm going to go knife that motherfucker. But then he like loses his knife in the crowd and he's like, shit, I ain't got my knife. I got to fight this dude who's... I don't know if he's just in better shape because they were both in Vietnam together, so they should technically be about the same age, but fucking Kreese looks like so much older than Silver.
Well, I
guess money, like, fucking...
Dude,
he's had a softer life than Kreese has.
Look at the Hollywood elites versus, you and I, okay? Money can buy youth.
Yeah. Reese is getting, Silver's getting his forehand massages and smoking cigars in the hot tub. He's not had the hard life that... Kreese has got some mileage on him, man.
Mileage may vary depending on, your choices in life.
Yeah. And, during that fight... Johnny shows up and like stops Silver from fighting. It's almost like that's one thing. I think we're gonna get like an enemy of my enemy is my friend thing next season, because you think he's like, ooh, here's my opportunity to go fuck up Kreese, and then he finds him fighting Silver's. He's like, nah, Silver's the bigger asshole. If anybody's gonna kick Kreese's ass, it's gonna be me. So fuck you, Silver, and like I'm gonna tag in and like beat the fuck out of you. And then fucking Daniel's fighting the dick leader of the fucking whatever Iron Dragons, and then that old Cobra Kai guy shows up that kidnapped him. He's having to fight that guy. I mean, it was like people just switching like from fight to fight, and then you finally get like Tori and Sam and Robbie all like end up teaming up together. Like, hey, we're in different dojos now, but we're still friends, even though you banged the hot Spanish chick.
Oops.
My bad. I thought we were on a break.
There's no comparison.
The fucking influencer bitch. I like when she snatched her phone. She's like, yeah, she's a whore. She doesn't care about her karate sisters. She just wants to bang their boyfriends, and then she's like, all my sponsors are dropping me and shit. I'm like, that's funny. You fuck with the influencer chick. I kept waiting for Robbie to get hurt. I didn't see this big like fight happen. Like the final fight was supposed to be the captain's. I was waiting for Robbie to get hurt somehow, and then Miguel have to fight whatever the main guy from the Iron Dragons, who apparently has a crush on Sam. So he's like, why does this dude keep like mean mugging me? Like I didn't do anything. He's like, yeah, he hit on me while you were gone and didn't realize like I had a boyfriend. So I turned him down, but apparently he's a little upset about that. So he's like, keeps like, fucking mean mugging Miguel. And he's like, bro, I hadn't done shit. Like, but so I was expecting like something to happen to Robbie and then Miguel have to fight that guy. But then like the all out brawl like breaks out and he ends up having to fight him anyway, just not in the tournament.
I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like turf wars. It's the Valley versus everyone else.
Yeah, you got the fucking Irish team and the Russians that are apparently on roids and shit.
That would never happen.
And they got the other version of Hawk. They got the non-American Hawk who's like, I too have mohawk or weird like dreadlocks and shit. And like in that big fight, they kind of end up teaming up together too. And it's like, all right, Mohawk brothers, we're cool. We're not gonna fight each other. We're gonna fight these Russian assholes. Yeah, but that final episode of the season is just one straight brawl. And then you see the one crazy motherfucker that Kreese like made the captain of the Cobra Kai's that Kim like argued against. Like, no, he's fucking reckless. And he's like, yeah, that's why I want him. He can be a soldier. He finds Kreese's knife and is like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. And you see Daniel-san sees it and he's like trying to get through the crowd to stop him. And I totally expected like Daniel-san to get in the middle of that and get like stabbed or something. And that's how they're gonna end this. But no, dude goes after the fucking Iron Dragon guy, whatever his name is, and he like just kicks the shit out of him and dude falls on his own knife. And it's like, that's not how I saw this ending.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, you pick up a weapon, you better be prepared to go out, the same way that you're intending, to take somebody out. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of... You got a gun, I got a gun, you got a knife, I got a knife, like...
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah,
it is the Iron Dragons is the... Yes, the final four teams was Cobra Kai, Iron Dragons, Miyagi-Do, and Furia de Pantera, a.k.a. the Panther's Fury.
But I gotta say, Miyagi-Do, looking at that, tournament score, had a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, Axel, that was the Iron Dragon guy that end up killing or causing dumbass to fall on his own knife.
That was the only thing that
the Irish team was called Dublin Thunder.
But that was the only thing, because what was his name? Quam, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. The captain of the new Cobra Kai.
He didn't get introduced until, fucking this season, and I'm like, that's safe, like to let
get us a new guy in here that we can.
Yeah, I mean, just cannon fodder, somebody that folks really didn't have a chance to really like or embrace or anything, like a Robbie or a Russo or Me personally, I thought Tori was gonna get something, like.
Switch sides or get fucked up somehow.
Well, I mean, just...
And the Russians were called Tiger Strike. I like these. That was one thing, too, I learned this season was... Because when he goes to find the original Cobra Kai, because I always knew Miyagi-Do was based off of Okinawan karate. And, the title of the movie is Karate Kid, so I thought it was all karate. But no, it turns out the original Cobra Kai dojo is in Korea. And I'm like, wait a minute, is Cobra Kai actually like... it's definitely not Taekwondo because they have some self-defense moves, and Taekwondo is mainly kicking and punching. They don't do a whole lot of grappling. I'm like, is this shit Aikido? because I recognize some of these moves. And then I did some digging, and apparently they've said Cobra Kai is based off of another Korean martial art called Tang Sudo, which shares some stuff with my style of like Hapkido. Like they kind of we borrowed some of their kicks and punches. They borrowed some of our self-defense moves. So it is like kind of adjacent to what I do. So I'm like,
Joe, are you Cobra Kai?
Am I Cobra Kai? Sweet.
Do you have black geese?
We do.
Damn it! No, I need to sign up.
Yeah, we used to be 3 different colors based on your rank, but now it's like we just went all black. So yeah, everyone except instructors
So you
wear.
truly look like a ninja.
Well, I have an instructor uniform which is like multicolored, but yeah, like all the basic students have black gis. So yeah, you can come be Cobra Kai.
Sweet. Where do I sign up?
joeshapkido.com. Oh.
Your dojo name is literally just be the Joes.
But yeah, that final fight was just like, this is fucking epic. And I like some like the strategy when they were doing the 5-on like the tag in fight where like only one person on the mat at a time, and it's like fucking Hawk and Eli keep like switching back and forth and like not letting that other guy tag out.
Binary
Like,
brothers.
It's like he's getting tired. Like just keep. And when they finally realize they could trust Kenny, he jumps out there and like just takes 2 guys out like back to back. The freaking uppercut at the end. I'm like, all right, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, Kenny turned out to be quite the little badass at times.
Yeah, because he was like, kind of became a dick, and then kind of became like, it's hard to keep up. Like everyone's like,
Well, I mean that's the problem.
it has so many like back and forth arcs. Like Hawk was a dick for a while, then Hawk became a good guy, and then
was kind of a dick again.
Johnny was kind of a dick, and then like it's like they've all kind of just
like
gone back and forth.
For as much forward progression as we should have, like it just keeps going back. Like that's the only thing that I'm like,
Robbie was a dick.
Can
and
we
then
get
not a
past
dick,
this?
Yeah, it's like, who's not a dick? Who's a dick this week?
No, not even this week. Just this episode. Like,
yeah.
For this next 15 minutes until they have the same realization that's been realized
It's like
since season
it's
1.
Like every season, it's like we've learned to fight together. Then something happens over the summer, and we come back for another season. It's like we forgot how to work together. I mean, it's like it's overall. It's been an enjoyable series. I'm kind of sad to see
just
it
insane.
wrap up, but yeah, it's like, dude, y'all keep forgetting the lessons y'all have learned and having to reestablish those lessons.
And it always comes back to the kids, having to center and ground the adults and be like, at that point, it's a victory for everyone. The kids are better than we are. Like, shut it down.
Yeah, because like the first kind of day of the tournament, Johnny's trying to get him to be more aggressive. Daniel's trying to get him more defensive, and they're just not getting it together. And then Daniel gets kidnapped, so it's like, all right, Johnny's in charge, and Johnny tries to make like, all right, you got to be aggressive. We're gonna do it my way, and then his way doesn't work, and he's finally like, calls and leaves Daniel that voicemail. It's like, hey man, I need you, man. Like I can't do this alone. We've got to figure this shit out together. And then the silver reveal kind of both like shook them both up. The silver reveal and the Miyagi death reveal kind of shook them both back up, and it took Miguel finally like, hey, stop being assholes. Like, like teach us. It's like, kid's right. He's smarter than us.
Fuck. That's why I'm just a car salesman now. That also didn't make sense to me too. Like, if your wife's that bad off and you guys can't make rent and all this other shit, how the fuck you buying 2 round trip tickets to Barcelona?
Well, now that he's part of Miyagi, though, he's got a rich buddy to.
Yeah, but his rich buddy wasn't, there to bail him out when it was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get a house, I'm trying to do big shit. Like, then you got to quit these fucking side gigs and get a big boy job. So, give her a bonsai. I sold a car.
Oh, yeah, and then you got, I don't know, maybe the tournament paid for air travel.
I mean, I could get to travel one round trip, but not both round trips on the account of, family emergency.
I mean, Danielson's obviously got some money, so maybe he hooked him up.
It's all Amanda.
Yeah, she's the real. I'm tired of these goddamn karate fights. And now we got a murder streamed live on the internet. Or well,
Cut the feed.
put that shit on live link, TMZ, whatever. Remember all the websites we used to like watch death videos on back in the day?
Rotten.com.
Oh yeah, Rotten.com. Was it? Was it? It wasn't Wicked. It was. Was it something hamster? I think there was.
No, bloody something. I don't remember, dude.
Yeah, there used to be a bunch of like just websites that just showed like nasty shit back in the day.
You just never knew if it was real or fake.
Yeah.
Then you got the dark web, so if you just want to,
Speaking of which, did you hear about the Wicked mistake?
No.
All right, they got that the movie of the Wizard of Oz musical Wicked. Well, they released a bunch of like kind of Wicked edition, kind of like Barbies, like dolls of the characters. And apparently the company had AI write the copy on the back of them, and it said go to wicked.com to order instead of wickedthemoviedolls.com, which is the correct website. Wicked.com is a porn site. So people are buying these dolls and then going on the website to get more information, and kids were finding fucking porn.
That's what happens when you remove, clothes off of Barbies.
Yeah, someone didn't proofread that those labels before they went out.
Well, I mean, this might be more of a science thing, but, there's been a lot of doctors as of late relying on AI without cross-checking, and that's leading to a lot of misdiagnosis and a lot of incorrect drug prescriptions because of those misdiagnoses.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
If even doctors are not checking this shit, like, dude.
There's been a few people caught writing like scientific papers and getting caught using AI and not proofreading, and like the AI is like making like citing references that don't exist. This is making up its own references to cite in the papers.
I've heard that happening. Some with court systems. That's why courts now are like,
yeah, it's like
no AI
quoting whatever case law that doesn't actually exist. So do you think we get a final epic fight between Johnny and Kreese, or if he's gonna join up and
I don't know what
team up against Silver?
Get now that there's a death at the tournament.
Yeah, the next 3 episodes is just the legal battle of like we've had to pause the tournament while we work out this wrongful death lawsuit, and like the last 5 episodes is just a courtroom drama. We don't get any more fights.
I would like to see that we get wrap up and we get, closure, but I don't know. I think we're going to get so many episodes of sort of the same back and forth bullshit, and then the 5th episode, here's kind of the wrap up or the conclusion. Or LaRusso just wakes up and this was all just
yeah, it was another Miyagi dream. Or do we get like the tournament people like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. All the kids, we're not gonna let them fight. The final tournament is gonna be Sensei versus Sensei, and we finally get Kreese and Silver and that whatever douchebag from the Iron Dragons that has been a kind of a dick the whole time. They all have to fight each other for the final match.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Or we just get some Barcelonan fucking street fight. We're gonna meet somewhere and just finally figure this shit out.
Yeah, because we make forward progression and then it regresses.
Cause that was one of my favorite things of like season 5 is that we got more of the adults fighting each other. Like that whole like fight with Johnny and Chosen and whatever that guy from Karate Kid 3 was. I can't remember his name. At Silver's house, getting in that big epic fight.
Well, that or maybe something happens to, Kim, to Johnny, to LaRusso. Something happens to them, and then the kids have to bail them out and end up having to take Terry on. Those 3 dojos coming together somehow.
I could definitely see Kim is kind of softened up. I could definitely see her because even in that big epic fight, Chosen, like, she was kind of pissed off because he's like, what happened? He's like, oh, it was a mistake. And she's like, oh, a mistake, huh? And he's like, it's not what I meant. You said we shouldn't let anybody know about this. But then he like saves her ass in that, they kind of team up in the big epic fight. And he's like, oh, is this another mistake? He's like, no mistake this time. I am here. So it's like, yeah, I could definitely see those two like hooking up. Like I could see her switching sides, or at least, doing the honorable thing. But yeah, it's like, I'm not sure how the Kreese Silver drama is going to play out. It's whatever these last final episodes or 5 episodes are going to be. It's going to be freaking wild.
I hope so, but.
Or like I said, we get 5 episodes of the courtroom drama as they try to work out why this dude died.
And then too, like, I don't know, like you stated earlier, if they try to do something to tie in to this
whatever
new
this
Karate Kid
upcoming movie is, if it's even part of this kind of continuity, who knows? It could be as a complete new thing. I've not seen enough news other than it being announced that they're doing another Karate Kid with Daniel San and Jackie Chan. I've not seen anything. Anything further.
I don't know. It's just hard for me to speculate a direction. It was obvious early on that we were going to have some sort of Miyagi-Do type name scheme, but now like
Cobra Miyagi Fang.
I think that an enemy of my enemy really comes into play, and that's kind of the epic conclusion.
Yeah, because Cobra Kai kind of became the good guy under Johnny's leadership until Kreese and Silver came back and made them evil again. And Johnny started his own thing, and eventually wrapping that into Miyagi-Do. Do we get some kind of redemption story for Cobra Kai, and they kick out Silver and Kreese and Dead Quan, and like Cobra Kai becomes like honorable good guys again?
I don't know. I mean, realistically, like even Kreese is showing some change of heart. I don't think he falls on the sword again, for Silver, the way that, you spent how many years in the cage, you should still be in that cage. Like, I think this is setting him up for even a redemption story.
Yeah, it'd be kind of wild that, they kind of go full circle on him. And because even those like earlier seasons where it showed like the flashbacks to him as like a young dude and in the military and stuff, and you kind of saw like he had the potential to be a good dude like back in the day, and this kind of got corrupted by time and betrayals. So it's like, yeah, do we get like a Darth Vader redemption arc at the end?
That's kind of been Cobra Kai's MO though, is to take the broken, the impressionable, manipulate them, teach them to use that anger, like you just referenced, the whole Vader, thing, where I think Tori has the tendency to go back. I think she's going to be the one that ultimately brings everything full circle, and we see all 3 dojos unite and we sing Kumbaya. And, you know, at some point see
Her Eye of the Tiger.
Silver either die or, you know...
finally get arrested for something that sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've definitely made him to be the big bad. And yeah, I'm looking forward to his hopeful downfall.
And then, you know, a year or so from now, we get a Where Are They Now, you know, miniseries.
Johnny has his kid and names him Miyagi or some shit. You know, who knows? Oh, well, as we kind of wrap this up, this cigar is not bad. It's a little milder than what I normally smoke, but it's very, like, kind of smooth and creamy. Maybe a little bit of espresso vibe to it. Not bad. It's I would say medium at the most, but it's got a lot of good flavors. So it's not a bad choice if you wanna smoke something that's not too strong, but still interesting enough to keep you entertained. And with that, we're gonna bow out and get off the mat and be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.